Joe Rogan has had it with woke cancel culture, and he's calling it out particularly with regard to Jordan Peterson. We're going to see what's been going on with Peterson. We're going to see the profound relationship between the freedom of speech and the freedom of thought. We're going to look at escape velocity and why, in the end, the woke academy is destined for the ash heap of history. You are not going to want to miss this.
100% true. Like, Jordan was ringing the alarm for this a long time ago, and I'm sure you're aware of what's happening to him now.
I am aware that something new is happening to him in the last couple of days, but I have not caught up to it.
I don't know if he wants me to discuss this publicly, so I'm going to hold off and wait until he does, because I believe he's addressing it publicly. Has he addressed this on his see if he go to his Twitter page, see if he said anything. But
I'm having a Wi-Fi issue at the moment.
Okay. He's getting in trouble for retweeting some person who was critical of Justin Trudeau and the whatever board of psychologists that they have in Ontario is bringing him in for disciplinary discussions, and I think they're having some sort of they want him to be involved in some sort of a class or some sort of a thing. Here, I should just read it.
Never mind. We'll do that for you, Joe. And by the way, Rogan is talking there to Brett Weinstein. I'm sure many of you know about his own run-in with university-enforced cancel culture. He was a professor at Evergreen College in Washington State, and he refused to participate in a so-called day of absence when white students and white faculty were supposed to stay home. And of course, Weinstein thought that was horrifically segregationist. And in a clear sign of the radical confusion of our age, woke students accused him of racism. Weinstein did eventually resign from his position, and now he's a full-time podcaster and a very successful and popular one at that. But of course, the occasion here is what's happening to Jordan Peterson. As I'm sure many of you know, he's actually being threatened with losing his license to practice psychology unless he agrees to attend, I kid you not, a re-education camp. On Tuesday, January 3rd, Peterson tweeted out the bombshell threat that he received from the Ontario College of Psychologists, who demanded that he submit himself to, quote, mandatory social media communication retraining in response to tweets he made critical of Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Here's Brett Weinstein's response.
I can't say I'm terribly surprised. Ultimately, anybody who remains inside an institution is going to be up against disciplinary hearings if they insist on seeing reality and discussing it. But
the term retraining, I'll read it again because it sounds so bonkers that someone would think that this is a good idea. This term is so crazy that he is going to have to participate in mandatory social media communication retraining. Social media communication retraining. Like, you have to do it the way I do it. You have to do it the way other people that we have decided the way you communicate is not proper. We don't agree. You're retweeting people who are critical or criticizing the government, and we don't agree with that. So we're going to retrain you how to communicate on social media, and this is mandatory. You have to do it, and then you're going to have to adhere, right? Because if you do it, if you go through the retraining and then you don't adhere, well, then it doesn't count. Like, you have to be a different person.
Yeah.
Now, there's two things there that I think are huge. First, note what Brett said there. Anyone who's in these educational institutions, anyone who insists on seeing and discussing reality is going to face disciplinary hearings. This is where the modern woke university, it's gone. It's literally gone insane. I saw a bit of it myself. I was in the university world for 20 years, and I've heard it put this way. The university campus today is part country club, part brothel. And university faculty basically occupy an echo chamber that's increasingly removed from reality. We have studies, ironically, that show that scientists and scholars won't go near some subjects precisely because of the woke blowback. They're afraid of suffering, like Brett and Jordan have been suffering. And unfortunately, that means that the academy is increasingly quartering itself off from a significant portion of reality, as if it were taboo, not allowed to be explored. And that leads precisely to the second observation, and this is the one that Jordan Peterson himself has made. Peterson has long argued that there's essentially no difference between speech and thought. If we're going to be free to think, we must be free to speak, precisely because so much of our thought is organized verbally. And this is so profound because it's not merely the notion that what we think is expressed in words. Peterson argues that so much of what we think is in terms of words. Words constitute our thoughts. We ask ourselves questions all the time, and we do so to actually get answers from our own consciences. And so if that's true, what woke cancel culture has actually been trying to do in its relentless stifling of our free speech is woke cancel culture is actually trying to stifle our thought. That's what tens, if not hundreds of thousands of accounts on Twitter were suspended for before Elon came around. They were banned, not because they broke any terms of service. They were banned because of wrongthink. They were guilty of verbally expressing thoughts that woke leftist ideologues have the utterly despicable, repulsive gall to claim were not allowed to be thought. Peterson's absolutely right there. If we're going to be free thinkers, we must be free speakers. And we're about to see how Jordan Peterson, precisely because he stood up for free speech, is getting the last laugh. First, gang, you have to click on that link below and treat yourself or a loved one with a warm, soft, comfortable MyPillow product from the one and only Mike Lindell. It's the new year, gang. What better way to celebrate than take advantage of Mike's insanely low prices if you use my special promo code Turley. Promo code Turley will get you a near 70% discount on all of Mike's nearly 200 MyPillow products. You heard that right. So, for example, if you click on the link and you get your classic MyPillow, which is normally $69.98, use promo code Turley. That same classic MyPillow becomes $19.98, and that applies to over 200 products in their catalog. So don't wait. Click on that link below. Give the gift of comfort and warmth to yourself, to your loved ones. Support one of America's most amazing patriots and get the best savings ever. Click on that link below right now.
This is the most important part about it, is that Jordan has achieved escape velocity, and he doesn't need them anymore. And so this is an empty threat.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I love that expression. Jordan Peterson has achieved escape velocity, right? Which is the velocity you have to reach in order to escape the gravitational pull of another object. So what Rogan is saying there is that Jordan Peterson has achieved an effectual immunity from the threats of woke academia. And this, to me, is what makes the time we're living in so exciting. We're now living in the midst of what's been called the information age, right? We often refer to it as a network society on this channel. And this is the rising of a new social order where the university is no longer the gatekeeper of knowledge. Through the rise of the internet, right, the network, information has been radically decentralized. It's been democratized away from monopolistic institutions like the academy or like the legacy media. And now it's available to everyone through digital networks, primarily through the internet. And what Jordan Peterson has done is he's been one of the nodes, as it were, of this emerging information society. He's been one of the most successful mediators of information to more people around the world than any college classroom audience could ever have afforded him. Again, this is how I ended up on YouTube. I mean, I remember distinctly wanting to go beyond the walls of the classroom and the audience limited by academia and share information with people all over the world. And the Network Society enabled me to do it, and it's enabling Brett Weinstein to do it and Peterson to do it and a whole host of former academics to go beyond the confines of the classroom, exchange our lecterns for a mic and our classrooms for a camera. Now the cultural Marxists in the academy can no longer silence us. It's an absolutely amazing time to be alive. We can bypass the woke university's attempt to silence us, to suppress us, to censor us, and be able to speak freely precisely because we're living in an age that's rendering the woke academies more and more irrelevant, and the microphone and the camera more and more special than ever. It's a wonderful time to be alive. And no one has shown that more than Peterson and Joe Rogan. As always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. You'll definitely want to check out my latest video on Bill Maher leaving Neil deGrasse Tyson absolutely speechless on woke COVID insanity. It's going to make your day, so make sure to click on that link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.